Hey guys, welcome back to the Tough Love Podcast with Dr. John O'Connor. Today's podcast is all about finishing what you started. So probably about a year and a half into this whole journey, I have committed to doing my first show, but more importantly, it was more of a reflection on myself looking back of how many projects I've started and not got done. And, yes, people could look at you and say, yes, you always work out, but this is really for the people that are in this industry or in this business could only understand. It's different when you're zeroing in or dialing in on the perfect presentation of what these judges and what they want for these physique shows. And for me, the one thing that I've always said to patients, friends, athletes that I train is trainers and coaches are accountability measures. You put them in place like, yes, I'm disciplined. No, you do not have to tell me to do things. I will get it done. But sometimes you need to realize that, like, for instance, yes, my diet looks great. Well, I have an exercise physiology grad with 10 years experience in, bodybuilding prep. And he has changed all my meals into, grams and measured and ounces and a balance of protein, carbohydrates, fat, and a whole array of vitamins and whatnot, as well as, varying levels of hydration. For me, it's not about the vanity side of that. It's about the dedication, sacrifice, commitment, and probably most importantly, execution. I've been spending so many hours per week, probably for the last 8 weeks, digging as deep as I can into as many podcasts I can on leaders, coaches, the one percenters, the outliers, whether it's Bedros, Andy Elliott, which I'm going to see later in the week, Ed Milet, there's so many that I like. And of course, like guys that are the GOATs that have been doing it for, decades, like Tony Robbins. And, one of the biggest things is I really, and by the way, I'm sorry about that because another one that I always miss and I've been preaching like crazy about is Alex Hormozi. I think he's also fantastic. But, I think that, these guys give you thought patterns or ideas that you can follow and make them your own. Why does this matter with regards to nutrition and the fitness and everything I'm doing? This is a business plan. We have a wellness company. I just got pulled into another one. And the reality is that what I see and what I think is there with my social media platform, my podcast, every opportunity I have to be out there in the public eye is at 50. I want to be in remarkable shape. I want to tell people, yes, obviously this is the extreme, but at the same time, this is what I maintain year round and this is how I do it. And one thing that I would say that I strongly urge for anybody looking to level up in business, life, personal relationships, and fitness is, if it's not a life coach or a business coach or a trainer, then, if you're going to do it on your own first, set a deadline, right? Give yourself 30 days to finish, a punch list of things. If you don't do it, well, give yourself a grade, give yourself a failing grade and say, hey, the punishment now is that you hired a trainer, you hired a nutritionist, you hired a coach to hold you accountable for what you thought you could do on your own. Why are these things important? One of the things, reasons why I had picked going out to Andy Elliott is he is a badass at calling you out and really calling yourself out in that when he's going at you, he's asking you or demanding from you, are you giving your personal best? Are you doing what you need to do to be your best for you, for your family, for your loved ones, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your mom and dad? And, and listen, at the end of the day, yourself, I think, one of the things that I enjoy the most with listening to most of those coaches, if not all of them, they do a great job of identifying their insecurities and weaknesses. And the fact of the matter that they put their vulnerability out there and they train that because what they're good at makes them special, right? That's why we're watching them. But what we don't see is them working on their weakness. And when they're working on their weakness, they're actually making their special that much more amplified. And that's for me what I'm doing here. I definitely don't like being uncomfortable, in a lot of aspects of my life. But I think that when people don't realize, how much care I have to put in my body for, fighting any of the residual symptoms from the GBS or any of the old injuries I have, it's not for a lack of grit and drive and determination. I think it sometimes just becomes just an like a run over of that emotion that one more thing I got to grind at. But I think that this year, especially in the last couple of months with my mom's health and my dad's health really, taking a pivot towards, not so great, is I realized that you get one crack at this game we call life. And for me, in my late 40s, when I got my health back, I realized how priceless that was. And now to me, like whatever stage I step on, whether I'm coaching, posing, training, preaching, teaching, whatever, I want to be magical. I want to inspire people. I want to be, to them that missing aha to get them where they need to go. So, this next couple months, I believe about 4 months, I'm going to be locked in like I've never been, since I was getting ready to play, high school, college, but balancing, opening companies, managing existing companies, rehabbing or rebuilding, my original company. And not so much that it's not us around us, it's how business and healthcare and everything changes and how we have to adapt and really improve to the times and, and become current with the times and, and change to what suits us and makes us happy, and sometimes that's a big thing that a lot of people forget is you're just going by and going through the motions and you're not even asking yourself, does this make me happy? And I think that's one thing that I have to say that in the last year, I have not worked out once and said, this doesn't make me happy, or the food. Like, I love it. I love having that focus. I was talking to my friend Ben a couple of weeks ago and he was just like, bro, I don't think you were ever this big. And I go, honestly, I love it. I love the challenge. I love the fact that I'm staring at other people on Instagram that are, my age, a little younger, a little older, doing the same thing. And I think it's important for people. I think our generation of like, even with my kids and like I see other people's kids, I think that, a lot of them, especially in this generation, everybody gets a trophy. They've lacked that inspiration to compete against themselves because they get a trophy no matter what. And, for me, I want them to think, listen, you're competing against yourself. I don't give a crap where you are, what you're doing. I want you to know that when you're done, you could look you in the mirror and say, I freaking crushed that. I worked my ass off. And you know what? I won, I placed, or I just competed. And there were people up there that might have had more experience than me. But damn, what a journey I left it all out there and I feel good about it. And I think that that's the message for today. Sometimes I feel like I love a lot of podcasters out there that give you these quick 7, 10, 12-minute podcasts and just kind of really get you going and get you pumped up. But that's what today's supposed to be about. Like, set goals, get them done, set new goals, keep track of this, look at them, measure them every Sunday. For me, it's Wow Wednesday. I like to look at my goals every Wednesday to see where I started a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks, a month, and measure my accountability, hold myself accountable. How am I doing? And whether it's a water challenge, make sure I'm taking my vitamins, making sure, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing to get where I want to go. Because I think the biggest thing that should be your takeaway from, a feel-good podcast like this one today is if you say you're going to do something, timeline it, set a start date, set a, whether it's a race, it's a competition, it's a fitness show, it's a trip that you're going somewhere and you want to look good, and set a 4 week, if it's 12 weeks out, set a 4 week, 8 week, and an 11 week goal because you're going that 12th week, and hold yourself accountable. Let me tell you something. The one thing that I've noticed, business is better. My relationships are better. My headset, my psyche is better. Because you know why? I get stuff done. I don't leave it on the table. I don't have a list that is, above my head high that I need to get done, because I'm working at a pace right now that just feels comfortable. And for most, it's, a 7-day schedule. And I heard Alex Hormozy saying he's most comfortable working 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I was like, wow, I kind of get that. Like, I love having relationships with people, but I'm not so much one of those people that has to be with somebody all the time. As far as seeing friends, when I see them, I feel like we just reconnect and catch up. But at the end of the day, I kind of just love being in my lifestyle and pursuing and chasing, these dreams and visions that I have. And I think that that's something that all of you should reflect on after listening to this today, is like, are you doing enough? Could you be doing more? What is it that was your goal? Are you close to achieving it? Did it fade? Did you quit on it? And if you did, why? Ask yourself, did it really mean that much to you? For me, this means everything to me, to be coming back from what I thought was the brink of living, a few years ago, to be competing for a fitness show, and, it'll be right before my 51st birthday. But I feel blessed. I feel grateful to have the support of my family, my friends, everybody that wants to go out and, and cheer me on. And, like, I can't wait. It's like being back on the court again and playing basketball. So, I think that everybody should kind of have that type of reflection, whether it's a race, it could be a walk, could be a charity, a golf outing, whatever it is. But, set a timeline, set a goal, and just stay dialed in. So again, thank you so much for joining me today on the Tough Love Podcast. I think today's really hit home for me. I know for me, I hope you guys found as much value. I'm always learning as I'm hearing myself talk on what I want to do, what I'm doing, and how it's, helping others, and how it's helping me. So again, if you find value in this, please share it, like it, and we'll see you again next week. Take care.